Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name's Kevin. This is my shop. I had got this some time ago, and they were throwing them out, which is a disc off a tractor implement, and I wanted to cut these off and clean it up, grind it. I said this is it'd make a good wok to cook with. So then I got to thinking, I got my propane burner and all that, but that you got to drag the tank out, you got to drag it out. It's heavy, not really heavy, but pain in the butt. And I said, well, I could make a charcoal burner under it. That probably wouldn't get hot enough. It probably would, but it would use up a lot of charcoal and stuff. And then I got to thinking, a rocket stove. And I know y'all have seen them, where they make them like this. Bad drawing. Sticks, charcoal stuff goes in here through natural draft. Heat comes up through here. The wok could go right here. But I don't think it would get hot enough. Now, some of the videos I've seen, to really get a good draft, this thing has to, right here to here, has to be pretty tall. So I don't know what the exact measurement it is. I went on YouTube and I've looked at a lot of them. I also read on YouTube on some of them that are really putting out a really nice flame, or should I say almost a red flame, really hot. And they're pretty much heating up right here. What I read about some of them is that they dubbed the sound and they've got a leaf blower behind it blowing air in to really make the combustion, to really make it look like it's really doing a good job. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's just what I've read. So the rocket stove idea sounds good to me, and I'm going to shorten this up as much as I can, but I don't like the idea of it being tall. Now I've got some scrap as some people at a scrap yard saved for me, and I got the disc. Now I got to thinking, I said, well, I could put a blower, something like this, to make it shorter, put a door right here where it will shut, put my charcoal in there, and then have a blower. The thing with the leaf blower other people doing, it's not a bad idea if it works, and put it in right here. Well, living in Louisiana, we have hurricanes. Unfortunately, there's a hurricane there in Florida, or coming up to Florida, or the East Coast. And, put a grate right here, have your charcoal right here, and have air coming up in here. But then again, if you don't have any power, and I like to go camping too, I don't go off grid or anything like that, this would be nice to have some feet right there. You could actually take that, you could cook eggs, bacon, whatever in the morning, but then again, you'd have to have power to run the blower. So I thought about, well, these things here, they're pellet nodes. That's what goes in these little refrigerators and stuff, cool them down. They'll actually create voltage too, and these are just that's a number of them. I have had several of them. My charger over, not charger, but my power supply over there, I cool it on the inside with it with a couple of these. So I got looking on YouTube, see if anybody's done anything like that. because it would be a good idea, you know, to like have a block right here, have a couple of them right here, shield this naturally, and then you have to put a heat sink out here, not with a fan on it, but just something so these don't get saturated with heat. And as this heats up, it'll power one of these. Well, on Electroboom, he hooked 9 of them in series and only got 5 volts. Well, every one of these are 12 volts. And I said, well, that's not going to work either. So I got looking around for a 5-volt fan, computer fan. I guess they make them, I'm not sure, but I can't find any. So what I was really wanting to do, if I could get a blower to work, is come in at the bottom, weld a plate, and then take some tubing, weld up like that, and then have a grate up here and your feed chute for your charcoal, sticks, chunks of wood, whatever, and have your blower blowing in here, blowing air up, induction draft to help with the natural draft, and then the ashes would fall here, and then when you're done with it, you just dump them out. The problem was the blower and not having to stick 25 of these things on it. Then I found this. It's a costume blower. It's for one of these blow-up costumes, and it runs off of 4 AA batteries. And I said, well, that's 6 volts, right around 5 or 6 volts. I said I could take 9 of these and put on it and run it, but I didn't want to stick 9 on there. And after watching his video, I said, well, it's not going to work anyhow. I said, it's $8. I said, you know, let me just see, because I had these laying around. This is the cold side, this is the hot side right here. Now we're going to hook them in series. So I said, I'm just going to give it a shot. And this is a heat gun, and there's no trickery here or anything like that. So I said, let me put a little heat on them. And see if it'll even do it. And I even thought about putting a capacitor back on it and stuff like that. And it started spinning. And that's like 200. 240, and it's still spinning. And it spins for a pretty good while. And like I said, there's no trickery here whatsoever. still hot too. So as a rocket stove heats up, and I know there's going to be a point where they'll get saturated with heat, that'll be a good draft through there. That's the reason for the heat sink on the back side of these. And I know this is plastic. This will be shielded from the actual stove, and it's still turning. So I don't know if that's a brushless motor or not, but it does work. So that's pretty cool. I will attach it to this with a couple pieces of Teflon. That will be my thermal. That'll be my thermal barrier, so this doesn't get hot, because Teflon's good for 600, 750 degrees. Now these they're 180. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a bit of a complicated build, but let's see if we can't reinvent this thing, see if we can't make it a little better. And it's still spinning. And that's actually taking the heat out very well. All right. Let's get to it. All right, now that we have our main piece welded up and laid out, we can get the measurement for these pieces here. Now I've already got the other side of this one cut. The reason I'm building it like this, I see these people build these things with square tubing. I tried to buy square tubing. It's expensive. It's very expensive. So I don't know how much money they have invested in these things, but they're very expensive. Square tubing is very expensive. So we're going to need a piece here. I'm going to trim off what I don't need. We need 6 inches on there. Four and 3/8. Inches here, and if any hangover, I'm going to trim it off the end. 7 3/8 here. And that looks like 3 1/4, because it's going to butt up into that one. There. I'm going to have a door, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to have to weld 2 pieces together to get this one. and it is 16 1/8. So there are the dimensions this thing's being built out of. Now I just got to mark and cut the pieces, and we'll start welding it up or tacking it up. It's going to work out better this way because there's going to be a grate right here. There's going to be a plenum, and then the tubes coming up right here for the draft, and then the draft is going to come in right down here. There's going to be a plate welded on the back side here for the pelter nodes, or the pelters, whatever you want to call them, and then a shield to shield the blower and all that off. So let's get to it. Alright, we got these marked off at 2 inches. Some scrap tubing I had left, it's all steel. So we're going to go cut these.